Okay, and this one we want to find the x and the y intercepts. In general, to find the x-intercept, we set y equals 0. And to find the y-intercept, we set x equal to 0 in the two equations. So that's what we are going to do to find that. Also, we want to write these equations in the graphing form. The graphing form is the vertex form, which is y equals ax minus h squared plus k. And when we do that, we can find that h and k is the vertex, which we are looking for here. So let's first start with replacing y with 0. So when we replace y with 0, here we can combine these numbers. We have 2x squared plus 4x plus 2. And now we can divide both sides by 2. So this is x squared plus 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. And now this can be factored. This is a perfect square, so we can do x plus 1 times x plus 1. So x plus 1 squared equal to 0. And now to get rid of the square here, we apply square root to both sides. So we get x plus 1 equals 0. So x is equal to -1. This is the x-intercept. For the y-intercept, we replace x with 0 now. In this equation, we replace x with 0. So y is equal to 7, 2 times 0 squared plus 4 times 0. All of these are gone, minus 5. So the y-intercept is 2. And now to find this equation in a graphing form, we need to complete the square. And in this case, we do y 2x squared plus 7x. I'm rearranging here the terms plus 2. In order to complete the square, we need to pull out the coefficient of x squared. So that's the first step. So 2x squared plus 2x plus, and in order to get a perfect square, we need to start with the number next to x. We divide it by 2 and square it. With that, we determine which number should be added and subtracted to this function here. So basically 1, we add 1 here, and we need to subtract 1 as well. Now these 3 terms here will represent a perfect square, so we can factor it out. So we can factor it so to be this x plus 1 squared. We will be left with 2 times -1. This is -2 plus 2, so these will be cancelled. And now we end up with 2x plus 1 squared. So the value of k here, because we need to remember the graphing form as we've seen it here, the graphing form. With this, we can determine h and k. H in this case is -1, and k in this case it is 0. So the vertex h and k here are -1 and 0. So that's for the first problem. For the second one, we do the same thing. First, I will replace y with 0 to find the x-intercept. So we get x squared plus 2x. And here this x has to be distributed. So we get 2x squared minus 4x. And I will replace y with 0 to find the x-intercept. We might combine the x's here, so let's make the left hand side 0. So I will subtract x squared from here and x squared from here. Now 2x squared minus x squared, that's x squared. Now we have 2x minus 4x, that's -2x. 2x is equal to 0. And now I need to solve this quadratic equation. We might pull out x as a common factor. That's how we factor it here. And the product of these two guys, this guy and this guy, is 0. So either x is 0 or x minus 2 is 0. So x is equal to 2. So we have two x-intercepts in this case. And now to find the y-intercept, I will replace x with 0 everywhere in this equation. So every x will be replaced with 0. So 0 squared is 0. 2 times 0 is 0. 0 times whatever is 0. So we just left with y equals 0. This is the y-intercept. And now we want to write this in a vertex form or graphing form. So I need to get y isolated in this equation. So to get y isolated, we move everything to the left-hand side. So we have x squared, we have negative 2x, subtract 2x from both sides. Let me talk about this form here. I mean, we need to distribute here x times 2x and x times negative 4 and move them to the left side. So this will be negative 2x squared plus 4x. I distributed and I transferred them to the other side. So let's flip the left-hand side and the right-hand side. So y is equal to negative x squared, combine the x squares, plus 2x. That's what we have so far, and now I need to change this to the vertex form. First, we pull out the coefficient of x squared, or the number next to x squared. So I will pull out negative. So we have x squared minus 2x. And now to determine the number that should be added in order to get a perfect square, we start from negative 2 here, divide that by 2. And by the way, this process is called completing the square. So we add 1 and we subtract 1. The first 3 terms represent a perfect square. So y is equal to negative x minus 1 times x minus 1. So x minus 1 squared. And there is this extra negative 1 here, but it is multiplied by negative. So it is negative 1. So this becomes plus 1. With this, I can determine the value of h is 1 and the value of k is 1. So the vertex is 1, 1 in this case.